Happy Halloween, everyone! If you're joining me in a chat, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. We are playing First Encounter Assault Recon. This is a first-person shooter horror game from 2005 that was released on PCs for Windows XP PCs back then, as well as the Xbox 360 and later on the PlayStation 3. And it's a really good game. If you play a version of this game, I would recommend either the Xbox 360 version or the PC version. And you have a few options for the PC version. There's the boxed copy. This was released back before boxed copies kind of went by the wayside, so you've got that option. You can probably find that on eBay or something. You've got, it's on Steam, which is what I was trying to play earlier and having all kinds of trouble with. It kept crashing on me, which was really, really annoying. And this is the GOG version. I'm trying to see if this works any better. If I can stream the game any better from GOG. See if it won't crash on me, because as I mentioned earlier, the GOG version, versions of games tend to be optimized to run fine on modern hardware. So I'm hoping that means we will not have any problems. When this game was released in 2005, this was actually a benchmark game. This was one of the games that people would use to test out their high-end PCs to see how they would perform. And this was actually a gorgeous high-end game back then. Obviously, these character models have dated, but it's been 12 years, so what do you expect? There are aspects of this game that do hold up graphically, though. The lighting is still pretty damn good. I really like the lighting. It really kind of helps hide a lot of how far this game has aged over the years. The lighting is really fucking good. The particle effects are great, too. The dust effects are great. Dust and fog. And the sound design is also held up extremely well. This is both a action horror game is what it is. So you get a very thick and intense atmosphere from the sound design that works extremely well. I like it a lot. But on top of that, the gun sounds on this game are fantastic. It really sounds like you're tearing your enemies to shreds when you fire your weapons. The shotgun in particular sounds fucking badass in this game. I absolutely love it. I love the shotgun in this game. It's a lot of fun to use. This also has slow-mo mechanics. This was back when first-person shooters were doing slow-mo mechanics. And I'll just go out on a limb and say this. Fear has the best use of slow-mo mechanics in first-person shooter history. It's really, really awesome. You actually get upgrades to your slow-mo mechanics as well as your health that will let you... it'll increase your maximum health, and it will increase how long you can enter into slow-mo. And when you enter into slow-mo and you shotgun guys at close range, and you get the slow-mo echoes going on, as well as a big cloud of dust and blood and limbs and enemies flying everywhere, it's really impressive. It's still really impressive to this day. It's fucking gorgeous. From a gameplay standpoint, it has aged remarkably well as well. Because the sound effects are so good, it really makes the guns a lot of fun to fire. Now, a lot of the guns are fairly standard, like machine guns, stuff like that. Submachine guns, and there's shotguns and pistols, and you can dual wield some of them, which is awesome. And you combine that with the slow-mo, and they are really, really fun to use. But you also have a couple of really cool other weapons. You have a laser that you can kind of use as a sniper rifle because it's got a zoom function on it. And you'll be able to pinpoint and shoot enemies, and if you hit them, it's like a one-shot kill that
assuming it does what it's supposed to.
Just tears the enemies to shreds. Oh, there's the lighting effect glitching out on the wall here.
He just transferred in a week ago.
You
can see it here.
His reflexes are totally off the charts. I think he can handle
I hope
himself.
that's not caused sign of too much trouble.
Goddamn right it is.
I swear it doesn't do this on the PC. It might do this on the Xbox, on the PS3 version, and I would not recommend getting the PS3 version because it is not a good port. It has slowdown. It has graphical glitches like this. It's just, I mean, if you're going to get a console version, get the Xbox 360 version. It runs a lot better. It looks better. Boy, he really knocked out that trash can. Anyway, the enemy AI in this game is also really noteworthy. The enemies are very smart. They will flank you. They will throw grenades at you. They will crouch behind cover. They will try to flush you out. They will try to sneak around behind you. All kinds of stuff. They act intelligently. And they work together. And part of that is a little bit of programming trickery because they went out of their way to record enemy lines in this game. So they won't just say, "He's over there," where you'll get that kind of thing in other games. In this game, they will call out your specific location. They'll go something like, "He's behind the door. He's in the office. He's through the window," that kind of thing. They will call out exactly where you are. And it's actually really cool to see and hear. And it honestly probably makes the enemy AI seem a little bit more intelligent than it actually is. But it works well, and it really kind of keeps the gameplay fresh as you're playing throughout this game, because I have to be honest, the environments can be kind of repetitive. You're going to go through areas like this, down areas that are just torn down areas such as this a lot. You're going to go through office buildings a lot as you play through this. And it's a fairly lengthy game. You're probably going to get a good 12 hours out of it. Did I mention that the lighting effects are really good when they're working right? Because there you go. That is really impressive coming up these stairs with the lighting effects. The lighting effects are really good, and they kind of help keep it fresh. Yeah, I'm having similar problems. It's really, I mean, I like this game a lot. I've beaten it probably 3 times. When I did my list of top 10 games of the 7th generation, I don't remember if I gave this an honorable mention or if I mentioned it in the list proper, but I mentioned it in that list. It's been a while since I've gone back and watched that video, so I don't remember exactly where I put it, but I know I put it in there, and I recorded the Xbox 360 version for that. It's a lot of fun. I'm describing this, and I'm really kind of making it sound like it is a action game, and it is an action game. It's action horror. This is FPS horror with a strong focus on action, and it will kind of go back and forth between horror sections where the game will get psychological and will just fuck with you. and the combat sections. I love the effect on the breaking glass. Looks really cool.
Hold on a second.
And it'll do that for basically the entire game. And the horror sections are really well done. They're very creepy. They're very atmospheric. They fuck with your mind. And I kind of prefer that kind of horror. I love horror that messes with your mind. Psychological horror. I want you to do that. I don't want you to try to jump scare me. I think jump scares are kind of lame. So I would prefer my horror be more like Silent Hill, if you will, than Resident Evil. Nothing against Resident Evil. Actually, Resident Evil 4 is... If you follow my channel, then you know Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite horror... might be my favorite horror game of all time. It has some stiff competition from this. It has some stiff competition from the first Dead Space, which is a wonderful game. A few other things. Speaking of Dead Space, rest in peace, Visceral Games. I hated to see them close down because they have shown that they're quite a talented team in the past, with the first two Dead Space games being their crowning achievements. Just very, very good horror games. I liked them a lot. I never got to play Dead Space 3, but I heard it was nowhere near as good. But Dead Space 1 and 2 definitely worth playing. I was kind of hoping that we would get like maybe a collection on the PlayStation 4 with them 1080p 60 frames per second for Dead Space 1, 2, and 3, and like an HD collection remastered. That'd be pretty sweet. But I guess that's not going to happen now that Visceral is gone, but maybe they can get someone else to do it. And again, I'm not one to rush out and buy EA games because EA as a company pisses me off. EA pisses me off. Activision pisses me off. Konami, I would be surprised if I ever buy a Konami game again after how they did with Metal Gear Solid 5 and Hideo Kojima. I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna buy Metal Gear Survive. No way. But this is a great game. It really is. It's on Steam and GOG. It is on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. I'd highly recommend picking up a copy of it and playing it. It's got a good story, but I don't think it's particularly well told. It kind of does the System Shock or Doom 3 thing, where you get like audio logs, but so many of those audio logs just have you standing in an office listening to a message on some answering machine or something, and half the time you're going to get attacked by enemies while you do it, so you don't really get a chance to stop and listen to and focus in on what they're saying. And I don't think it was particularly well done. The story that they wind up telling through these audio logs and the cutscenes is a good one, though. So it's kind of frustrating that it's a good story that isn't particularly well told, at least in my opinion. But I would urge you to pick up Fear if you've never played it before, because this is a very, very, very good horror game. If you like psychological horror, you like good enemy AI, you like good first-person shooting, this game is for you. Yeah, the dust that the thing was kicking up there, very impressive, especially for when this came out back in 2005. Very, very impressive. You could see the rippling, the water effects, I mean, this was a very high-end game at the time, and I like it a lot. Yeah, go fuck yourself. This is an example of them not taking the the First Encounter Assault Recon, which is the group you're part of in this game. Seriously? They bring that up in one of the first cutscenes. This is why no one takes us seriously. We're working on clones or whatever. But, yeah, that's kind of them just not taking you seriously.
I've tried to forget. I've tried so hard.
I see that there. And I want it. I brought up the upgrades to your slow-mo. This is one of them. That little green thing there, that is one of them. And then there's blue ones that will upgrade your health. I already got one, that's why I'm at 105. So whenever you see those, be sure to pick them up and collect them, because your slow-mo is going to help you out a lot in this game.
Once our recon is complete, we'll rendezvous and wait for further orders. Okay, let's saddle up.
Let's go rejoin them. Your slow-mo is going to help. Sorry, I love breaking the glass in this game. Just because I love this glass breaking effect. Survival horror and horror in general is something I think this generation of consoles could use more of. We got a decent start. I mean, we just got Evil Within 2. I haven't had a chance to play it, but from what I gather, it's pretty good. Reviews of it suggest that it is better than the first one was. I own the first one for the PlayStation 4, and I haven't played it much. There's several games I own for the PlayStation 4 that I haven't really touched. And that's one of them. Oh, that's not good.
Since you're on point, see if you can get this gate open. I'd send one of my boys, but I think we can...
Oh, first appearance of Alma. Alma is the creepy little girl in this game. And as creepy little girls go, she's one of the all-time greats. And I don't just mean in video games. I mean in horror, period. I like Alma a lot. She's very, very good at being the creepy little girl kind of horror trope. Status unknown. Both teams have gone silent. Fear teams. Life sign monitors are offline. Interference preventing. Satellite reconnaissance. Surviving operatives should attempt to rendezvous and infiltrate mission area until reinforcements arrive. You will soon be fighting replica forces, but man, these guys got fucked up. Just skeletons and blood. But we could beyond Alien Isolation and Evil Within and Resident Evil 7, what major horror titles have we had this generation? By the way, if you haven't played Alien Isolation, highly recommend that one as well, especially if you're a fan of the Alien games and when you're waiting for that really good game that does the Alien franchise justice, and if you were disappointed by Aliens Colonial Marines, as we fucking all were, except for Randy Pitchford apparently, who thinks everybody's just lying about the game being not very good or something. I don't know. He did a really weird interview about that game with IGN. Yong or whatever his name is. That his name on YouTube? Did a very strange very strange interview with IGN about that, where he seems convinced almost that there's like an anti-that game conspiracy going on. Shouldn't have stood next to an explosive barrel, dude. But I don't know what his deal is regarding that game. It's very strange. Is anything in this office? Doesn't look like it. But if you're looking for a good alien game, Isolation is the one that you're waiting for. It manages to make the xenomorph scary again. And when you are talking about a creature that we're all intimately familiar with, like the xenomorph, I mean, we know he's been in, what, 7 movies? We know what the xenomorph looks like. We know what his powers are. We know what he's capable of. Taking that and making it scary again is no small feat. It did a very impressive job, and the Xenomorph's actually rather smart in that game. He will kick your ass, and he will learn your patterns, and you have to kind of adjust how you act as you play through that game. So, because he learns from your past actions how to respond to you in new situations and stuff. It's really, really cool. The Xenomorph is terrifying in that game, and I like that game a lot. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't played The Evil Within. I have not played Resident Evil 7. I want to play Resident Evil 7. And I've got the... Let's melee this guy. I didn't get to him in time. Ah, the grenading bitches. Let's reload. It's kind of hard to talk and fight these guys at the exact same time. Where are you, asshole? Got him. You see how he was hiding, sneaking out from behind cover, stuff like that? They will do all kinds of crap like that in this game. They are not slouches. They will keep you on your toes from beginning to end. It's great. So make sure you use good use of your slow-mo while you're playing this game. I know there's another one. You stepped right in my field of view, dude. What'd you expect was going to happen when you did that? Make sure I get all the items. Let's continue. I really should play Resident Evil. I mean, I've got the version of Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 4 because I'm a sucker for that game. I want to get Resident Evil 7. It's on my Amazon wish list. Get the PlayStation 3 version of that game. I'm not big on the whole virtual reality thing. I've never once thought that it was going to be the next big thing that everybody else seems to think it will be. But I would like to try the version of the lights are just flipping shit. The version of Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 7 for Sony's VR. I would like to try that someday. You can pick up packs of health packs in this game, and you store them. You can store up to 10 at a time, and you just hit Z or whatever key you bind to throw them and pick and to use one. Which is kind of nice to be able to pick up health and use it later in this game. Works pretty well. One of the nicer features of this game. I've heard a lot of good things about Resident Evil 7. I heard a lot of people say that it's kind of a return to form in that it's really the first true horror game through and through since, like, 4. Which actually kind of gets me excited to give it a try. Because I love 4. 4 is my favorite Resident Evil game. And a lot of fans seem to think that it's blasphemy to say that. I don't know why. I don't know why a lot of fans are so down on 4. Like, it's got a smoother control scheme than the previous Resident Evil games, which is one of the reasons why I like it so much. Give me your gun. Yeah, look at this old ass monitor. One of the reasons that I like it so much. But it, to me at least, does not sacrifice the survival horror feel that you're used to from the Resident Evil franchise. It still very much feels like a very horror-focused game, where, like, 5 felt like an action game with horror controls, and it needed action controls. It's 5 is better if you're playing it with a friend. I will give it that. It can be fun if you're playing it with a friend. Okay, over here, this is what I was talking about with you just standing here and listening to a message. You get a lot of messages like this, and you just stand there and listen to them, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing else. You just stand and listen. Just going to drag it over here so we can hop over there and go through that door. And of course they bust through the door, and we're going to go over here, and we kicked their ass. But I was saying earlier that you can dual wield, so we can dual wield these pistols, which is pretty cool. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Okay. It seems to have this annoying problem every single time it saves the game automatically. It's not causing it to crash, just the screen goes black. If I ever Let's Play this game, which I would love to do, I'm going to do the console version. It's decided because of all these glitches I'm experiencing. Let's use another health pack there. Got them both. Okay, let's... there's obviously another one down there, though. So we'll get him in a little bit. What was I saying? Alien Isolation's awesome. Play Alien Isolation. If you guys haven't played the new Doom, obviously Doom has horror themes. I would not call it a horror game, but it has horror themes. The new Doom's fucking phenomenal. Best game of last year, straight up. I love the new Doom. I could not put the goddamn game down. I beat it on Ultra Violence. Highly recommended. If you're a fan of the old games, it'll do it for you. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I mean, I'm a fan. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Doom and Doom 2. I like Doom 3 as well. But Doom and Doom 2 were my shit. Those were games that I grew up on. And Doom is probably my favorite game of all time. I did not mean to hit slow-mo there. I meant to hit... Where are you, asshole? Got two of them. Not entirely sure how many there are. Let's give my reflexes a recharge. Yeah. I mean, most of the horror titles that I've seen from this current generation have been like indie stuff. And I haven't really played any of the indie stuff. I haven't played too many. Obviously, I played a couple of indie games for my channel. I did. I fucked up there. And they were both like retro platformer type of things. So I haven't really done any indie horror games for my channel, but I've heard there's some damn good ones. Got my ass kicked. Didn't do well in that fight, but I did live. And I want some more mainstream horror games. I would love it if Konami would sell, and this is pipe dream probably, sell Silent Hill to somebody that would actually do the franchise justice. And I was thinking about who that might be. And the first thought that comes to mind, and this is going to be kind of weird, is Naughty Dog. But think about it. The horror sections, the sections with the clickers in The Last of Us were really, really well done. They were genuinely creepy. The clickers were terrifying enemies to fight. And it was fun, it was well done, it was good. So I would like to see what they can do with a full horror game. I would love to see what they could do with a series like Silent Hill. See if they could make it great again. That would be awesome if they could pull that off. And I actually have a lot of faith in Naughty Dog. I've never played a Naughty Dog game that I didn't like. And I've been playing them like Crash Bandicoot 1. Parts of it hasn't aged well, but it was a very well made platformer in its day. Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3 have aged much better than 1 and are much better games with a lot more variety. And of course they did the Jak trilogy where Jak 1 was a fairly standard, more open 3D platformer, and Jak 2 and 3 incorporated some GTA elements and did it pretty well. Then they did the Uncharted thing, and do I need to praise the Uncharted games even more than they've been praised? I mean, we're talking about games that have been praised to hell and back, and for good reason, especially 2. Uncharted, I mean, the whole series is great, but Uncharted 2 and 3 were pretty big improvements on 1, if I'm being honest. And then of course, they did The Last of Us. I haven't played Uncharted 4, but I imagine it's up to their usual very, very high standard of quality. Guess there's nothing over here. I'd love to play that, but I should be talking about horror games, shouldn't I? Has anybody played Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth? I did a video on that, I think, for my first Halloween video a few years ago. Played, I think it was the Xbox 360 version? Okay, here's a health upgrade. And I don't remember if this restores your health or not. Okay, it does restore your health to full. And increases it by 5 every single time you get one. So that's health upgrades. Very, very useful, of course. And you do have to do a little bit of searching to find all of them. So do a little bit, even though this is a fairly linear corridor type shooter, do a little bit of exploring as you're playing through it. You will be rewarded for it. I went backwards, didn't I? With health and health upgrades, armor, weapons, ammo, all that kind of stuff. This game doesn't kind of... I wish the lighting effects would quit glitching out on me. If I play this, I'm gonna play... If I let's play this, I'm gonna play the console version because it doesn't do that. That's seriously annoying. I must have been missing something up here. Oh. Right. Run this way, and you want to jump through the window because that's Alma, and she'll kill you. This game's great, though. I definitely recommend you give Fear a try. This is where I wanted to stop. I need to edit anyway, so thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you stop by and watch the stream, I really appreciate it, and thank you. Talk to you guys later. Bye.